And well, here we go. Chris finally wrote back from jail. I assume he's going to give us a tell-all about what happened the past 3 months. I don't know. I'm going into this blindly like all of y'all. We're going to read this for the first time. We're going to see what Chris says. Just looking at the top line, I don't think anything changed at all, but we'll jump into it and we'll see what happened. We haven't heard from Chris in over 3 months. He's been in the loony bin, and he's finally back in jail. And he's also able to communicate with the outside world again. And the first person to communicate with him seemingly is Kangol again. It's always fucking Kangol with these letters. So I don't know who reached out to who first, but that doesn't really matter. Let's jump into this and look up at the top, May 10th, 2022. It looks like 2052, but Chris just writes his twos sometimes that way. I don't understand it either. And let's get right into it. Many spiritual greetings. He puts that in little brackets up top first. Gala Fala Ni, Kenneth, and to all of my followers as well. And then in brackets below, and this letter may be uploaded online. So yeah, there you go. Chris hasn't changed a goddamn thing. He still thinks he's Jesus, and, we're gonna go from there. Firstly, I am quite safe and well, and I am humbled and appreciative of thy concerns of my and my body's safety and health. For the time, I am not stating any further details of where or how I was the past 2 months, nor the details of my case, for even the legal system is most strict on keeping the details private and offline as well. So I guess we're not finding out what happened with Chris. He's keeping it under wraps. But if you know anything about Chris, he'll inevitably spill the beans without provocation in a future letter, so we can all look forward to that. But let's move on. All ye need know, regardless of the foreknown outcome, is that there was absolutely nothing beyond soul bonding that had happened. The leak from last July was false, and a good number of ye all should have known better with good faith in I, instead of succumbing to the demons and devil's temptations of rumors and drama, and thus failing that divine test. So what Chris is trying to do is he's trying to take back everything he said about what he did with Barb. Even though he said in a lot of these letters that it was all good and that he wants to get back to it once he gets back home, I assume now it's starting to dawn on him, yeah, I shouldn't have said that shit. But now he's going back and saying, no, I never said that shit at all. And anyone who thought I said that, you failed the test. It's funny to see we're only a few lines in and Chris is already blaming everyone else again for the shit he did. But let's move on. This is no retcon. Or there is no retcon. That is the truth. Ultimate. Once again, I'm pretty sure Chris's legal counsel probably told him, hey, stop fucking saying that you did that. Stop admitting to doing that. Next time you get contact with the outside world, make it known that you didn't do that and you have no intentions of doing that or ever did. And that's what I think Chris is trying to do here. He is trying to retcon it. He's trying to walk all that shit back, but it's not really going to work when you saw how adamant Chris was beforehand about all this shit. Ye all, in brackets, those who are not left behind, close brackets, those are the people who are going to go once the dimensional merge happens, the trolls and the fakes, the bads people. But yeah, ye all shall have to wait until the public release of my book with my goddess log pages in it months from now in order to find out the details and further authentic enlightenments for thyselves. So I've brought it up before, and Chris's quote-unquote goddess log is the book he's keeping that has all the information and addresses of the people who have written him in jail, which he plans to then publish. So all those people who've written him, and if you plan to write Chris, just know your information is going in his newest book. It's going to be funny to see Chris just sell a book that's really just one big old docs. But alright, especially with the facts present of the shifts and events that have been happening right in front of and around ye all that make the collective shift from 1218's Earth to C197's Earth, my second coming, not for from now and Judgment Day, upon toxic ones and left behinds, more clear and obvious to and with ye. Dear God, his writing style is it's still atrocious. It never got better, and I don't think it had any chance to get better because he hasn't been writing letters for so long, but unsurprisingly, the first page was just word vomit with Chris saying what we all expected, that he's still God, that he doesn't really want to talk about what happened the past 3 months, and that, everyone else is at fault, and he never said what he said. And, that could be the end of this, but there's 9 fucking pages left. So let's jump to the second one. Fuck. I also mentioned the number of months when Sanchu and I were body swapped, and the months from April to October 2020 when I, in Sonichu's body, was within a nanosecond frozen sub-dimension to further develop and harness my own powers and abilities while also doing so for my son's body and mind. Son, I assume, being Sonichu. These jail months have been that very same training regiment for my own good body right here. So this time away from ye all in greater revelations was meant to be, and as it was then, I shall return to lead ye all not long from now. So, it's just the same shit. Nothing's really changed. Chris still thinks he's God. He still thinks he's getting out of here and he's going to rule us all. He still thinks Sonichu's his son, which that's good to see that he still believes in the Sonichus. It's not all just Jesus shit. But yeah, nothing's really changed. Chris is he's still out of his mind. Let's just move on. Here is a massive ultimate truth for ye all. Ye all is Chris's new word of the day. You'll see him probably use this for the next week until he finds something else he likes. Why even I, when I was Jesus Christ in Jerusalem, could not foreknow specifically and exactly the hour and day of my resurrection then, and more presently my second coming, is because even Emmanuel, then and now, no god or goddess or anyone foreknew specifically when, period, what a run-on sentence, but only the specific shifts and events that lead up to that event, hence why we wait for the confirmations of those specific shifts and events and exact the details of the divine plan to counter and clear that event. So there is no population and universe shattering paradox in our very own timeline that would undo, kill, and destroy everything if left unchecked, and if not most anyone else on Earth or any planet or point in the universe in this timeline foreknew of the divine plan's intricate details and the specific events that need to happen, there is a chance one or more would want to counter and ... next page, to prevent the event themselves. I'm doing that. They would not only ultimately paradoxically fail, period, but their misintentioned deed would potentially throw the divine plan askew, and we would have a most difficult time and possibly lack of sufficient time to amend the plan and keep all safe and well. This is also why we continue to encourage all of you to have faith in us gods and goddesses, our divine powers and abilities to prevent the total loss of not only our universes, but our timeline as well. So if you guys are as lost as me right now, I don't blame you. I never understand this shit Chris says. It's just like he probably has a dictionary. He's looking up big words. He's trying to use those big words, paradoxically, which I'm not even for sure is a real word. I don't know. But it's like the shit never gets any less confusing. Chris's lore in his mind is so vast and so deep, we can't understand it. And when he puts pen to paper and tries to describe it, I mean, shit, yeah, I can't understand this. But let's go down more and let's keep reading. As well as having faith in letting all that needs to happen and fall into place for your health, safety, and benefit happen. This is also why all fan fictions have been rendered moot for the events in this timeline since August 1st, 2021, until the foreknown time when that shall be safe once again. So basically what Chris is saying is any fan art that came out after the time he's in jail, strike that shit down. That is not real. That did not happen. Get that out of existence. Basically what Chris is saying is, he's always been around to tell people, hey, that's not canon. Your shit about my Sonichu drawings, the shit you drew, that's not real. Don't do that. And now that he's in jail, I think one of his biggest concerns is that, oh my god, people are writing new Sonichu shit without me to be there to make sure it's up to par. And the fact that he's not out here to monitor that shit eats at him, because he feels like, him saying that right there is going to make everyone who draws this art go, ah, shit, he got us. When Chris would write on his Twitter saying that is not to be trusted, I disavow that. If someone drew like some fan art that Chris didn't like, he thinks not being around to do that, everyone's just going to be like, wow, this must be what Chris really wanted. I don't know if I'm describing this like the best, but yeah, Chris just does not fuck with people who want to draw fan art because it's not his self-drawn fan art. And that is still one of his biggest concerns being behind bars. Not what's going on with his mom. He hasn't even fucking mentioned her yet. It's really just like, don't draw Sonichu art, guys, and everything will be cool. Back to present events. I direct thy attention to World War III. Oh no. March to May presently being cold months. In brackets, does the expression a cold day in hell resonate to you from that fact? I mean, you're grasping at straws, Chris, but COVID bringing forth healthier individuals while dispelling the quote-unquote left behinds and shifting some as well. COVID was a divine test of thy faith, fortitude, and endurance and self-motivation, regardless of the fact Sockness had cursed the country with it. So he thinks Sockness is the one who started that. I bet you if Sockness got in touch with Chris, Sockness would say that he was the one who did that. Sockness does believe in that shit, but the fact that Chris believes in that too, that thinks Sockness was the fuck out of here. Keep going on. Also, the other facets, the previously mentioned including suddenly becoming ritualistic and random animals suddenly appearing in random places. I mean, Chris has got me on that one. My neighbor has a little golden retriever, and every time I walk in the house, it's either in the bottom window or at the door or up top. It's always there. It's always in a different spot, though. So, Chris has hit the nail right on the head with that one. But we really got to talk about he really thinks Sockness cursed the country with COVID, and, that's going to start World War III, or maybe the cold month. I'm starting to think Chris being in jail and realizing, March to May was much colder than usual up around where Chris lives this year. That was enough for him to go, holy shit, cold day in hell, we live in hell, World War III. Got it. Next page. As Caden had relayed for me, who the fuck is Caden? I've read all these letters. I've never once heard the name Caden, but okay, Chris has now... I don't know who this is. I had foreknown World War III as why My Little Pony Generation 5 being manifested in 2020 to 2025 was premature, and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic and Equestria Girls Generation 4 was needed to continue the season 14 and no less. So what Chris is saying there is World War III started because My Little Pony Generation 5 didn't keep going on like Chris wanted to. It stopped, and that really pissed off all the world leaders, and World War III happened. So, it's just, we got a pretty bleak future ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen. My and Nightstar Sonichu's intervention and aid to Hasbro to resume MLPG4 still is impertinent and ultimately beneficial for everyone, as I have stated in writing personally before. Basically, Chris is just saying, hey, if you do this for me, it'll be important for everyone. Why? I don't know, but it matters to me, so just fucking do it. My help and input remains on the table in greatest light power, humans of Hasbro, and for your money-greedy employees and executives' sake, I divinely urge ye to take us upon that. Period. I am serious as I appear authentically in the more recent photo and then some. So Chris wants all these Hasbro executives to look at his fucking mugshot and go, that's a face of somebody who's serious, and that's a face of somebody who's going to start a movement against us, and that's what Chris is trying to do here. As I just brought up, this is important to Chris, so it should be important to everybody, and Chris is saying that his help and input remains on the table. Chris's his only help and input is telling people to go do this. He doesn't have any other reasoning or how they're going to do this. Just go do it. That's Chris's input. And then at the bottom here, you can see Chris dedicated an entire half of his page, which he only gets a certain amount of every month, to drawing his logo, which I'm pretty sure the last time he drew his logo, it had a little more to it. It was a little more flashy, but being in the loony bin for about 3 months maybe made him forget about that. And you'd think this would be the end of it, but we still have 6 pages to go, and Chris, I'm pretty sure, now starts talking about Barbara, because I've skimmed through this and I saw Barb's name come up again a few times in these later pages, but the thing is, I'm pretty sure he's just going to denounce everything he said and say that nothing happened between him and Barb, but we'll jump into it and see, but that would be my assumption. Should ye all wish for further confirmations and premonition input to confirm these truths and facts, confirm with an authentic, highly enlightened / powerful psychic, including Helena and Pikachu. Pikachu? Is that who that is? Spanky the Hyanadoom. Is that another Pokemon? Pretty sure, like a Houndoom. And Molly the Medium. Or your most local, authentic psychic. What? Like, does he really think you can just walk out on the street and just be... I guess he's thinking about, the tarot card readers, the ladies with the crystal balls. But you go take this shit to them and they'll kick you the fuck out. Be like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? What's a Sonichu? Alright, let's move on. Now, for a most truthful and revealing topic that actually shall confirm a number of details from amongst thy thoughts in pre-0801-2021, so that's August 1st, 2021, when he went into jail, fan fictions that I may share now. The history facts about Barbara Ann Weston Chandler, or some of anyway, had any of ye all actually helped and talked with her in person before today, ye would have got the aura resonant confirmations and similar or other truths, and do not troll or bother Joseph Cole Smithy or Barbara for more details or anything. So I don't know where Cole Smithy comes up in that, but Chris is right in saying, don't fuck with his brother, don't fuck with Barb. But, it's weird because Chris's tone a few months ago was go to the fucking house and chill with Barb for a while, He was trying to get donations in for Barb because a lot of us assumed, and Chris had even brought up that Barb had contacted him and said that, she really needed money for the house, but other people were expecting that was a troll. And you can see here now with him saying, don't troll her or nothing. He probably got word from his legal counsel, yeah, maybe don't suggest people go to your mom's house. The victim of this situation, don't suggest people go over to their house. But I'm just assuming that. But Chris probably just kind of came to the realization that just gotta remind people, don't fuck with my family. Which is, there's nothing wrong with that when you have so many people who know about them. But I guess Chris is saying here, if you would have went before today, you would have figured out shit. But if you go now, nothing. It's all off guard. All the resonant confirmations and all that shit, that's so far out the window. But so that's just what I assume he's saying there. I tell ye all truest and fact, as sure as when Barbara at age 2 years old, laughing at her silver paint-coated daddy after he survived falling off the roof of their house while painting it. As sure as when their cow was killed by a donkey, literally. The Sunday homemade meals with chicken, mashed potatoes, cornbread, and butter and green beans. Stanley Weston finding their daddy dead on his horse-pulled wagon not far from the convenience store in Red Oak, Virginia. Jesus, Barbara's older than I thought. So Barbara had been born and grew up as child number 5 out of 8 to the Weston family in Red Oak, Virginia on October 1st, 1941. Her life was a redneck, simple country one. She had mastered sewing, mending, and making clothes and other farm life facts and church-going habits. I assume she played the jug and did all those other things, just a stereotypical redneck shit according to Chris. To note, there are similarities and Padar, what the fuck word is that? Padar differences between her past and mine, respectively, as I shall write and note to ye all. I'm pretty sure what Chris is about to do here is just kind of recollect on his mom's life so he doesn't really forget about it. He's just going to write down the things that, Barb's told him over the years, because I thought he was going to dive into, what Barb, what actually happened with Barb and saying, she needs help, she's not doing too well. No, Chris is just going to do, seemingly here, is the right word, a eulogy, a walk in the park through her life. It seems like this is where this is going, so let's just keep it rolling. In her schooling years, especially at high school, Barbara was a very high intellectual, yet she was also a cheerleader for a time. Barbara had 2 boyfriends in high school, one of which was Tom Ashby, which had game fairly well, but Barbara had planned to leave for college. What the fuck? Like, so ultimately, she broke up the relationship and Harriet Weston took Tom for her own. Oh, that treacherous bitch. Now, during high school and prior, Barbara's sisters had spread rumors of her, calling her a slut. But Barbara never had sexual intercourse. She never ever even masturbate. See, this is why, okay, listen. I gotta stop. I gotta fucking stop. Because this just shows that there's, no matter what Chris did with Barb, even if he's saying it didn't happen, we all know it fucking happened. There's clearly an underlying creepy family dynamic here, alright? Why does he know that? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm so, it's well, let's just get back to it because I don't even want to think about this. But just come on, you can't. Why would her son know about this? But yeah, regarding masturbation, it simply never occurred upon her to do so, and it was never against her religion either. So I mean, fuck, I don't know why are you that in depth with it? Like, fuck. I thought the high school boyfriends was weird enough, and just whatever. Let's move on. Comparison. She dated, yet I was naive on the subject of dating and healthy relationships, and I masturbated during our respective high school years. No shit, Chris. And I was too focused on education to ever seek a relationship or sex, not counting the friendships I had. Or in that, I'm sorry. Number one, Chris was never focused on his education. He was just like anyone else, a horny teenager. But the thing was, even if he wanted to get a girl in high school, which he did want to do, he told the one girl he liked her. Chris just couldn't get one. Even if he tried to talk to a girl, it's fucking Chris Chan. You know, no girl was going to go for him. And the thing is, it eats at him now. And you can see that. Chris tries to he tries to justify it that, you know, he was too focused on education. He always tries to find a new reason. And now, I don't know what he's trying to compare that to Barbara in that she, like, actually did shit in high school, which, you know, I don't fucking know. Chris is he's just saying shit. And that's really the constant with all these letters. It's just Chris pulling the first thing that comes out of his mind and throwing it on the paper. Over her adult years, Barbara had attended and graduated from college, and before meeting Mr. C, in brackets, Chris puts Robert Chew. Robert Chew. That'll never get old. The fact that he refers to his deceased father as Robert Chew. But Barbara had 7 ex-boyfriends. You know, some Scott Pilgrim shit. Counting the 2 in high school. And before numbers 3 to 7 and Mr. C as well, they all were rather selfish types of men, and in their testosterone-occupied selves, they each had never really cared for her pleasure when it came to the sex. Why the fuck does he know this? Like, I know he's brought it up about Bob before, that he never really pleasured her, at least Chris assumed so, but why the fuck does he know 7 other guys who did it too? There's too much Chris shouldn't know here. Whatever. To them, it was more for their pleasure and generic reproductive intentions. Generic reproductive intentions. Wow. Jerry and Mr. C, aside, they were love 'em and leave 'em types. Jack Smithy was number 5, and the damned trucker loved Barbara, in quotes, and left her with Cole. Yeah, that's the one who they claim is Cole Smithy's father, but I'm not sure if that's the actual right one. Also to note, after 5, in brackets, epic fail relationships on her part. You know, yeah, what a bunch of epic fails, Mom. After finding Mr. C, Barbara, in her own words, married him because, quote-unquote, he owned a house. He owned a house. That's why. No other reasons other than, fuck it, he owned a house and it would be somewhere for me to be under the roof. And yet, theirs with I under their care was a ship that lasted with some genuine love. Dear God, this makes the Chandler family household sound a lot more sad in this letter than it ever has before. Even in those, like, you know, you watch the Christmas family video, it just seems like 2 older parents kind of over it with their autistic man-child son. But in this, it just makes Chris sound like, yeah, you know, it was built on just a whatever, you know, old-timey, gotta-get-married relationship. So that's at least what I'm taking from this. Let's move on. Comparison. Oh, another comparison. So I guess Chris is just comparing and contrasting his life and Barb's. Barbara had selfish exes with actual in-person relationships and a few weddings. A few weddings. I had hardly anything beyond friendships on Authentics, and the relationships that I had, quote unquote, went anywhere prior to these days were distant, online, and fake. What Chris means to say there is everyone he's ever dated ever was always fake, and there were a few, like, kind of authentic people, but he pushed them away. You know, Megan, etc. There's more, but I'm not going to get into that. I define generational trauma, a noun, a trauma one experiences from the past, and aura, resonance, vibrations from the biological parents or legal guardian that can either be beneficial or sabotaging depending on the parents. The generational trauma thing, I assume Chris, once again, read that in a dictionary and just wrote it down there. And, you know, when you're thinking about Chris's parents, shit, they sabotaged the fuck out of him. And maybe he's going to bring that up, but I assume when Chris talks about his parents, he's going to talk about how good they did and how they kept him on the straight path. Now, as one may hear from Joseph Cole Smithy's testimony of Barbara as a mother, he had seen and experienced emotional manipulation, some lack of better care. He even called her a quote-unquote pathological liar when it came to asking her about Jack Smithy and other details from his perspective. No sugarcoating and blunt here from me. My years, I assume Chris means in my years, Barbara was caring, but remained some distant emotionally and mentally, really. She had emotionally manipulated me at times. When I told her of my intentions of going to a convention in another state, she did threaten to off herself. She also had raised her voice to me in upset and anger, especially when it came to money. After the paid sex with the prostitute, with the kind Cherokee woman, okay, I thought he was gonna, in April 2012, in May, I told Barbara about it, and Barbara literally propositioned me for sex by telling me I would have had sex with you Oh my fucking god, he's just coming out and saying it, that they really have to... Oh... Ew, god damn it, like, fuck, that's so weird. So basically he's trying to blame Barbara now for this. Is my first instinct off of seeing that, yeah, he's gonna say, no, Barb tried doing this. Barb is the one who initiated this. Maybe it's because his lawyers are telling him she'll get off with a lighter penalty, but we'll fucking see. But yeah, there's Chris blatantly just saying that after he had gone to, you know, pay the Cherokee woman to like take his virginity, Barbara said she would have done it herself. Now, I imagine Chris would have brought this up to someone over the past 12 years because he can't keep his mouth shut, but him saying it now still is pretty goddamn, it's damning, because you know, like I said, after all we're hearing about how weird this family is, I wouldn't put it past Barbara. Nonetheless, that's just an accusation Chris is putting out there, and we'll see where that goes, but Jesus, that's a bombshell. And in one aspect of her unconsciousness, Barbara had considered me being a replacement for Mr. C after September 6, 2011. Okay, now when he puts it in that perspective, I'm absolutely not giving Barbara any benefit of the doubt, but that is probably why. She probably just lost her husband, and it's fucking weird, dude. It's fucking weird. I'm not even gonna get into that, but yeah. So yeah, Barbara, in a way, did become an emotional burden on I. I mean, it seemed to took advantage of it, Chris, so I don't know if she was such much of a burden as it was, maybe she tried for so long that Chris finally just, I don't know. This situation's fucking weird. This situation is so weird. Yet, in despite of the situation, and I have personally written to Heidelberg the story of Barbara in these and similar words, in truth, nobody had interrogated her because of her age. The legal system, am I right? So, I'm sorry, am I reading that right? Is Chris basically saying, yeah, because of her age, they never interrogated her, and she was the one who did this to me, you know, the legal system, am I right? He's pinning this on Barbara. On Barbara's old age, he probably talked to his lawyer, and his lawyer convinced him that she's the one who fucking did this. And you know what? I said it about 5-10 minutes ago that Chris is about to, like, talk up his parents like he always does. This is the most, like, downtrodden I've ever seen him on them. Well, at least Barbara. And I think what Chris is just saying here is he's throwing Barb under the bus, saying she's always been the one who's manipulated him into doing this. And I think they might be doing this because I'm just saying, if I'm the lawyer, they're probably telling Chris this right now. Yeah, if you just say she did it and all this, you'll get out, and because she's so old, she won't get any punishment for it. So that's probably what they're just telling him. You know, Chris is someone you got to talk like a kid to, so that's probably it. Let's go to the next page, but that's one of the wackiest fucking things I've ever read in these. That's gross. It's damning. It's just wow. All right, there's 2 more pages. Let's get into it. Now you all know. Son of a bitch. He really is gonna try to pin this all on Barb. But all right. For now, until my safe return to all of ye in light powers divine, I remind thee of one of the new commandments. Oh my God, he's going back to the commandments already. He's drawing up some new commandments for us. Let's get into this and introduce ye all a couple more of them as inscribed on 10:14:21. Thou shalt not comment online or offline in hatred, spite, falseness, or without any words of criticism that aren't intentionally, genuinely meant to be supportive for actual improvements. So it's just Chris once again going out there and saying, hey, once he does get out, he still hates being criticized. If you're not trying to criticize him nicely, that's one of his commandments, and you're going to hell. We talked about it months ago, and it's happened a lot in this letter, but Chris does these things not for the greater good. You know, he's God. He's doing this for all his people. He's doing this strictly for himself. All these commandments are really, really closely relating just to Chris and a group of people like him. But let's see what the other commandments are. Thou shalt not hate thy neighbors or others that share any similarities in race, ethnicities, interests, or whatever else with thee. And thou shalt not hate thyself for any of these traits or interests either. Wait, I'm sorry, can I read that back? That share any similarities in race. So I guess he's saying don't hate against your fellow people? I don't know. That seems like that's just, that's a given, Chris. Thou need not feel pressured nor obligated to pursue sexual relations. Oh, I know where this one's going. And among all who pressure and talk continuously about sex, please do not speak on and on it. Coming from someone like Chris, who for years and years and years his life was all dedicated around sex and trying to get a boyfriend-free girl, it's rich hearing that, but, he's got to say the right things now that he's trying to accuse Barb of this. And thou need not feel obligated to listen if thou feel uneasy around others when they speak of which. For sexual relations are better when thou and thy partner actually feel appreciative and open and not pressured by others beforehand. He's really turning this on her. It seems like all the stuff Chris was saying he was doing, and now he's just spinning that real fucking quick. I would be inclined to say, because Barb's not in her younger years, Barb is a manipulative person. She really is. So I'm not going to just take her side on this, but at the same time, the glee Chris talked about when he was talking to Bella about this and the acts that he did, that I don't know. That when he talked about going down on her and all, and the act of glee he sounded when he did it, I highly doubt this was all Barb's doing. I think Chris was just on board with this as her, if she was on board with it. I don't know. And lastly, to Englehart. That's Kenneth, the guy who's getting this letter written to him, if you don't know. And anyone else with the same or similar ideas. Now is not the time to make any lolcow wiki pages on anyone who does not already have such on them, including celebrities and politicians, for at these immediate times the collective shift and greater events are on and happening, and ye need to be observant and enlightened for thyselves, as well as recognizing and dispelling any and all remaining dark, demonic, and devil influences from deepest within thy selves and thy unconsciousness. I think he just meant to say consciousness, but this is Chris basically saying, hey, everyone who's about to report on this letter and make fun of me, don't do that. Start focusing on the real shit I'm talking about, the real message of this. And Kengel was probably just reading this, put it right on his website, shook his head, and now he's just waiting for his next letter. To Chris, this is real serious, guys. This is everything. What you're reading is to him, it's earth-shattering. It's this is the end of the world, and he can't believe none of us are realizing this. At least I think it is. I don't know. He could just really be saying this for the insanity plea, but I really do think he believes in his mind he's Jesus Christ right now, and it's just mind-boggling for him that nobody else is taking this seriously. Let's move on to the last final words. For now, my individuals and followers alike, I, in brackets, farewell. Work diligently and thorough and hard for ye all. Be safe and well. Mrs. Jesus Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu, the goddess blue heart of the Commodore consoles, guardian of the Sonichu and Rosechu species of Pokemon, thy one avatar, Lord, I don't know what word that is, but something, Savior and God of all. Just, nothing changed. Nothing's really changed. He thinks he's God, and actually, no. One thing has changed. He's now accusing his mom of being the one who really pushed this onto Chris, rather than it being the other way around. Like I said, that sounds like it's coming from his lawyer and not from Chris. But I think this is why Chris is more like he's willing to say this now is because he never thought he'd be in here for that long. The reason I think he went to the mental institution, this is just my speculation, is because he freaked the fuck out when he found out he was going to be in there for at least another 4 to 5 months, and he thought he was leaving that day. So he probably lost it, freaked out, and they threw him in there because he was freaking out so bad. And now he's probably willing to do anything and everything he can to get out of there. So that's why he's throwing Barb under the bus. Shit. Just shit. There's so much just like word vomit in this letter. It's always the case with these Chris letters. It's literally always the case. They're never well written. There's never anything like big in this, but this time there is something pretty goddamn big. Chris is now saying all this shit about Barb, and I guarantee you the next letters we get are going to continue to talk about shit like Barb, and her being guilty of this. But we'll see. We will see. This one's a doozy though. So I'm going to get out of here because that was a lot to read. But first, let me give a shout out to Holly, Sky, Tyler, Liz Vender, Vanessa, Krabby, your mom, Club Doom. You guys are fucking goats. All y'all who've made it this far into this, you're a goat too. I don't know how you did this without your head exploding, but hey, here we are. And I guarantee you it won't be many more days until we see another letter like this. Most likely probably from Kengel. He's probably already got a new letter in the mail. Oh shit, it's Sunday. He probably already got that shit in the mail. But, that's how this shit works. Chris just talks about crazy bullshit, and we read it here, and I hope y'all were entertained, or at least tried to be, because what a weird fucking letter. But guys, that's that. I'm going to hop out of here. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Be safe, spark one up for me, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.